Mr. Eitner?
I'm ready.
Just kidding.
I'm actually not.
Okay, roll call, please.
All right, Mrs. Cochran?
Here.
Mr. Ray?
Here.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Here.
Mrs. Coons?
Here.
Mr. Eitner?
Here.
Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're looking first for a motion to accept the minutes from April 15th, 2024 council meeting as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept minutes from April 15th, 2024 council meeting as presented, not read.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Eitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept purchase orders from April 13th, 2024 to May 3rd, 2024, totaling $62,739.31, please.
I'll make a motion to accept purchase orders from April 13th, 2024 to May 3rd, 2024, totaling $62,739.31 as presented and not read.
I'll
A
second.
second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Eitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept bills from April 13th, 2024 to May 3rd, 2024, totaling $481,457.68 as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept bills from April 13th, 2024 to May 3rd, 2024, totaling $481,457.68 as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Eitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept April 2024 DOPS delinquency report as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept April 2024 DOPS delinquency reports as presented, not read.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Eitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Okay, next I'm looking, I just have one award this evening. I tried to get a hold of 6 others. I'm going to have a Lakemore Beautification Award annually being presented. And I have 7 recipients this year for the year 2023. And I couldn't get a hold of everyone, but I do have a nice little gift for them. I'm hoping that we can get them here next meeting, hopefully. We'll see. I know a couple are out of town and I couldn't connect with another. But I do have one, and so I'm looking for a motion to dispense with the regular order of business, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Eitner?
Yes.
Perfect. You made it just in time, Brian.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
I'm
something that won't get my
announcing.
head.
All right. Right. I conked my head today as well. I saw stars. But anyway, it is an absolute pleasure of mine to have an award for a great friend and leader in the community. This is a certificate of achievement, and it's proudly presented to Mr. and Mrs. Cochran for the Beautification of Lakemore Award at 995 Bristol Ave, given on the 6th day of May in the year 2024 from Mayor Rich Cole for the most beautiful home, top #1 most beautiful home, and this is your certificate. I have you, and I have a little gift bag with gifts as well, but I didn't bring them.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Not the home, it's the
It's-
flowers.
It's the flowers. She's already.
Yeah, if you don't come inside.
She's
Yeah.
already this year sent a couple texts. Did I miss any colors? I mean, it's a garage full of petunias, and also, I mean, you must have 50 baskets of flowers in there, and they're beautiful. And
Wow.
You take amazing care of your yard, and I wanted you to get some recognition for that. And it
Oh,
is,
thank you.
in my opinion,
It's,
the most beautiful yard.
To me, it's working in the yard, and even buying flowers is a lot cheaper than therapy. So.
Yeah, today when we had our call, that's what she was doing.
I was.
Yeah, so
Well,
I do have
thank
an
you.
award for you, Laura. Thank you for taking such good care
Okay,
of
well,
your,
I'll pass you something here.
your yard and caring about beautifying Lakemore. Are you gonna take it for Francis? Oh,
Here,
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Laura.
I thought she was like, no. I'd be like, bye.
Hide behind her.
All right, thank you.
Are you in this? Are you? Thanks, Laura.
She's like, I tried not to be.
So that's the first award. I'll have 6 more, and if they don't show up,
Do
I'm
you
just
want to
gonna
at least
deliver.
read them?
I don't have the addresses,
Okay.
yeah. They're excited. A couple that I've talked to have been chomping at the bit to come down here,
Yep.
so I just couldn't connect
Every
with them.
time they show up, they would ask.
Well, it is happening, thank God. So,
Seriously.
is there a motion to go back into the regular?
I'll make a motion to return to the regular order
Thanks, John.
business.
I'll second.
Thanks, Sam. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
And that's for 2023, so hopefully you're gonna keep it up
Oh,
year after
I
year.
will.
I know.
I always have.
Set the bar
I'm gonna
so
real
high.
try
Yeah.
to
I'll come down and help.
unthrone.
Nice. Okay, we're moving into the reading of ordinances and resolutions, Tracy.
Resolution number 7355-2024, a resolution approving the Assistant Fire Chief to reinstate Andrew Siptek as a part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to reinstate Andrew Siptek as a part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. Section 2, Mr. Siptek will serve a 1-year probation. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Resolution number 7356-2024, a resolution approving the Assistant Fire Chief to hire Kyle Ledger as a part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, and State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to hire Kyle Ledger as a part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. Section 2, Mr. Ledger will serve a 1-year probation. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4 of this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Resolution number 7357-2024, a resolution approving the Assistant Fire Chief to hire Dalton Brake as a part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to hire Dalton Brake as a part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. Section 2, Mr. Brake will serve a 1-year probation. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4 of this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Resolution number 7358-2024, a resolution approving the Assistant Fire Chief to hire Jared Andrews as a part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, council approves to hire Jared Andrews as a part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. Section 2, Mr. Andrews will serve a 1-year probation. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4 of this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Resolution number 7359-2024, a resolution authorizing the Lakemore Fire Department to enter into an EMS services agreement with MSAR. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves the Lakemore Fire Department to enter into an EMS services agreement with MSAR. MSAR will provide expert maintenance, repairs, reconditioning, and upgrades to the equipment set forth in Appendix 1, attached Tier 2, or the covered equipment, in accordance with the terms of the agreement. Section 2, a copy of the agreement is attached Tier 2 and made part of as if fully rewritten herein. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4 of this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this resolution shall go into effect immediately. Resolution number 7360-2024, a resolution amending the pay rates for Chris Alderman, Travis Faulkner, and Tracy McMinney with the Village of Lakemore Department of Public Services. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves increasing the pay rates for the following. Chris Alderman will earn $30 per hour. Travis Faulkner will earn $18 per hour. Tracy McMinney will earn $18 per hour. Section 2, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, this resolution shall go into effect on June 6, 2024. Ordinance number 1851-2024, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and chief fiscal officer to execute all documents necessary to sell certain parcels of real property. Whereas the Village of Lakemore owns certain parcels of real property, and whereas the mayor and council have deemed these certain parcels of real property are not necessary for municipal purposes, and whereas the Village of Lakemore will benefit from the sale of these certain parcels of real property through a bidding process. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, the Village of Lakemore owns certain parcels of real property that are not necessary for municipal purposes. The Village of Lakemore will sell these certain parcels through a bidding process. Section 2, the village administrator will create a bid sheet for each parcel of real property. Some parcels deemed unbiddable will be sold separately to be acquired by adjacent property owners. Some parcels will be sold together to be combined and deemed biddable. Section 3, the village fiscal officer will advertise for bids once a week for 5 consecutive weeks in a newspaper of general circulation within the municipality. A bid opening date will be stated in the advertisements where bids will be accepted. Properties will be sold to the highest and best bidder. Section 4, that the mayor and chief fiscal officer are authorized to execute all documents necessary to sell the following parcels of real property. Parcel 5400341, 2nd Street. Parcel 5401209, 3rd Street. Parcel 5400967, 1233 Russell. Parcel 5400020, 1435 4th Street. Parcel 5401854, 2284 Lakeside Drive. Parcel 5400254, 2662 Springfield Lake Drive. Parcel 5401650, 1535 Raymond Street. Parcel 5401653, 1535 Raymond Street. Parcel 5401651, 1535 Raymond Street. Parcel 5401652, 1535 Raymond Street. Parcel 5401597, 5th Street. Section 5, the village solicitor shall review and authorize all terms and conditions and any documents prior to execution by the mayor and chief fiscal officer. Section 6, it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with the law. Section 7, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Ordinance number 1852-2024, ordinance to amend ordinance 1833-2023, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Council, Section 1, Council approves to increase appropriations in General Fund $8,019 for the Service Garage Building Insurance American Rescue Act Fund 2053, $38,251.01 from the ARPA Police Fire Hiring Grant. Parks and Recreation Fund 2906, $108.72 for park equipment. Sewer Operating Fund 5201, $5,000 for sewer rate study. Section 2, Council approves to increase revenues in American Rescue Act Fund 2053, $38,251.01 from the ARPA Police Hiring Grant. Section 3, Treasury for payments from another foregoing appropriations, upon receiving proper certificates and vouchers therefore, approved by the board or officers authorized by law to approve the same, or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditures, provided that no warrant shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages except to persons employed by authority of and in accordance with law or ordinance. It shall be provided further that the appropriations for contingencies can only be expended upon appeal of 2/3 vote of council for items of expense constituting a legal obligation against the village for purposes other than those covered by other specific appropriations herein made. Section 3, this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this ordinance shall go into effect immediately. Ordinance number 1853-2024, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1797-2022 and 1834-2023, the pay scale for the Lakemore Police Department. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves the pay scale for the Lakemore Police Department. Part-time sergeant, $20.90 per hour. Full-time patrolman, $23 per hour. Part-time patrolman, $20 per hour. Administrative assistant, $18 per hour. Section 2, that accept as amended herein, the existing pay rates and provisions together with all previous amendments thereto shall remain in full force and effect. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this ordinance shall go into effect on June 6, 2024. Ordinance number 1854-2024, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1802-2023 and 1835-2023, the pay scale for the Lakemore Fire Department. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves the pay scale for the Lakemore Fire Department. Assistant Fire Chief, $25 per hour. Captain, $21 per hour. Lieutenant, $20.50 per hour. Fire Medic, $20 per hour. Firefighter Basic EMT, $16 per hour. Section 2, that accept as amended herein, the existing pay rates and provisions together with all previous amendments thereto shall remain in full force and effect. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this ordinance shall go into effect on June 6, 2024.
Thank you. So we're moving next into the mayor's report. I would like to announce that the Lakemore Food Pantry will be Wednesday, May 29th at 5 p.m. at Lakemore United Methodist Church. And I would also like to say thanks to Channel 1023 for coming up to Super Learning Center today. We had the traveling 9/11 memorial semi-truck come by with, yeah, it was quite a day at Super Learning Center. We had Touch a Truck from the Lakemore police and fire departments. We had fire safety for the elementary school. It was just a real momentous day. There were a couple field trips, but I do want to say especially thanks to 1023 for coming and recording a great day at Super Learning Center. And that's all I have. We'll move next to the council report. Mrs. Cochran.
Well, I hope that nobody else was going to start off with mentioning this, but we had a great turnout for our cleanup day. I don't believe we've had a meeting since then to acknowledge the Springfield Assembly of God. They just were awesome pulling it together. I don't know if you know, we have one every year, and about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people show up. Everybody here. They had at least, and you were there too.
Yeah,
There's sit-ups all over the place.
Yeah, well, there was probably, what would you say, about 50
They brought
people?
50.
At least 50 people there. And we could never,
Yeah.
we could have never done that. And we hit Lakemore, groups broke off. Plus, they provided refreshments in the very beginning. And they're just an awesome part of our community. So I wanted to thank all the volunteers that were there, as well as the church and Chris Burchin, who really organized it, I believe. So
She's great.
yes, so that's all I wanted to say. It was wonderful. It was a lot of little tiny fireballs, like bottles empty. I picked up probably more than there was probably a couple hundred all along the way.
People like a fireball.
Somebody likes
She
fireballs.
said she kept finding more every time she opened her door.
But it was awesome, and we thank everybody who came out and did a part, and we are gonna be praying that they'll do it again next year.
Yeah.
And that's all I
For sure.
have to report.
Thanks, Laura Sam.
Cool. I don't have much. So I'll just announce the next council workshops. They're going to be May 15th and May 28th. Both of those are going to be 6 p.m. here in this building.
John.
Okay, I got a few words from Spectrum Community Channel 1023. I'd like to serve our communities to provide access to local government meetings, programming, and information on community events. Currently, members can access all current and past programming on demand via the new YouTube channel, or find it by searching the Springfield Lakemore Community Channel. Excuse me. More community information is available through Facebook, Springfield Lakemore Channel 1023, Instagram, Springfield Lakemore Channel 1023, or X, formerly Twitter, at Springfield Lakemore Channel 1023 at Springfield Lake 1. And you can check out their blog, the Springfield Lakemore Channel News and Views. They have some special events going on that they run, but right now their schedule is the Lakemore Council meeting from 4/1, Springfield Board of Education meeting from 4/16, Village of Lakemore Easter egg hunt, Portage Lakes Career Center and Board of Education meeting from 4/18, and Rotary Club from 4/6. And I also like to remind everybody that the community garden, it seems like we
We've only got 5 spots.
only
left.
have 5 spots left, so if you're planning on getting yourself a spot on the garden, you better make it fast because
Plan
it's
time's running
filling
out.
up.
I know, I want one.
I even have little stakes I've been putting people's
Yeah.
name in.
Oh,
I
nice.
drove by today and seen all the stakes and everything.
That's good.
Should have announced that native plant. There are 2 native
I was
plants.
going
Oh,
to,
good,
but
good.
you can.
No, I don't remember the details. Thank you for that.
And with that, I'm done.
We need to go. You through, John?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
done.
thanks, John. Nikki, you're up.
I just want to piggyback on that. We got to walk through the village with people who attend this church up here who really never walked through the village. And so it was really great also to get to know a lot of people from their organization, and it was such a good day. And when you have a Lakemore cleanup day that's usually 5 people, to see that many people take their Saturday and to serve the community within their church lives in, it was just really awesome. So also thank you for that. And one more thing I just wanted to say, I actually just hit my 4 years of being on council, if you can believe that, and I was reflecting a little bit. 2 of those years I took over for Sam. I was hired in. The other 2 I've been an elected official, but this was a job that I did not think I was ready for. I had 3 kids. Richard is like, you gotta come, you gotta be part of this team, and he always knew I could do it, but it has become one of the most, you knew before I knew, but I love this village so much, and I just want to thank everyone for letting me be part of such an important job that I take very seriously. So thank you for letting me serve for 4 years already, if you can believe that. So I love Lakemore, and I love you guys.
Awesome.
Here's to 4 more years. Huh? Oh, yeah, and our parade is coming up. We should probably mention that, too. Sorry, enough about me being on council. Yeah, do you want to go ahead and talk about our parade?
Sure.
All right.
You lead the parade every year, why not?
Yeah, yeah. There we go.
Well, I'd like to say that the next council meeting will be May 20th and June 30 to 7 p.m. Memorial Day Parade will step off at 11 o'clock. Lineup is 10 o'clock in the high school. We will promptly step off at 11 o'clock, led by His Honor the Mayor. Hopefully we'll have a lot of units in the parade, and it's been my honor and privilege to have our Catholic War Veterans Post lead the parade.
For years.
You guys walk it, don't you?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Some of the guys that can't walk ride the truck.
That's a great group, though. Thank you,
Thank
Ed.
you for
You're
doing
welcome. One more thing. Remind everyone not to rake or blow leaves and debris into the roadways or waterways to avoid negative effects on Springfield Lake. Also, to keep our motorcycle riders safe.
Amen.
Because wet leaves and grass causes motorcyclists to fall. And that's all I have.
that. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks,
You're
Ed.
welcome.
Miss Anderson.
I think the only thing, someone did the workshops, but I don't know that they did the next council meetings.
That's it.
Oh, you did the council meetings?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then I got nothing. Thanks, Ed.
Snack pack, are you finished with snack pack? Or you?
Yeah, snack pack, we finished up our last packing, last month. We just have a couple weeks and pantry manager and,
Nice.
pantry managers are gonna throw those together and.
Permissive
so-
monies, that should go to permissive monies at the DMV.
Yeah, I mean,
Here.
just make sure that, when you go to renew your tags for the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, that, your registration says that, the money goes to Lakemore. It sometimes says Akron, and sometimes those monies go to Akron, but if you make them aware and make sure that that money, or your address and that is listed for the village of Lakemore, those monies goes to help the village with our roads and keep those in good shape for everybody. So we've been working hard the last 4 years that I've been on council and trying to make sure that the roads are kept up and things like that. And if you do that, that always goes towards helping to make sure that.
I just like to reiterate, even if that's for everyone who lives within the boundaries of the village of Lakemore.
Yes.
If your mailing address says Akron, Ohio 44312, it is still Lakemore, and that's how we lose a lot of money. Because I live in Akron, and it says Akron. No, you live in the village of Lakemore. So please, the people that have 44312 zip code in Lakemore, please tell them we're losing revenue that way.
Absolutely. So,
Mhm.
and that's it.
And we lost population and census time, so we're gonna fix that. That's coming up already around the corner. But anyway, I have one more thing before I turn it over to Tracy for the administrative report. The Lakemore Lions Club is hosting a spaghetti dinner at, it's drive-through only at Lakemore United Methodist Church. And that is Saturday, May 18th, 2024. I have just 2 tickets left to sell, but I think I'm gonna get some more from the club. But if you're interested, see me. They're $12 for a nice meal, a nice hearty meal, and it's drive-through only takeout. Okay? Awesome. I got 2 here for you. Thanks.
$6 a piece.
Mhm. Yeah.
You
Thank
want me
you.
to bring the missus?
Hmm?
Can we bring the missus?
Bring both of them.
I was like, what?
Mr. Mayor, I don't think you understand what I'm talking about. She's 14 years old.
Bring her.
She's a cat.
Oh, it's
She might
drive-through,
like
so it's
spaghetti.
fine.
Drive through, it's
When I
fine.
walk in the door, she's right there.
Nice.
Right up for it.
Nice. Thanks, Doug. Tracy, it's your floor.
So, you wanted to talk about the native plant sale that Summit Metro Parks holds every year at the Monroe Falls Metro Park. It is also on May 18th.
Nice.
It's a really cool sale, and they even have like endangered native plants. I bought a bunch up last year, and some of them survived. So, so that's one thing. I had a meeting today with Sarah Barrow from Summit Soil, and I apologize, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he's our regional arborist through the state of Ohio for our grant, our tree grant. So we're hoping to plant 15 trees around Springfield Lake area, native trees, decent sized trees. So we have a large budget, over $40,000 going towards those trees.
That's awesome.
And this arborist will help us pick the right trees. We're also working collaboratively with an arborist from Bartlett Tree. He helped write the grant. And it spans over 3 years. So it'll help pay somebody a part-time fee to help us not just maintain those trees till they can take up on their own, but also look at the trees in our other parks. And then that kind of segued into talking about working on a grant to become a tree city. So I thought that you would
What
love
is
that.
that?
It is something else. It's another grant from the state of Ohio. And one of the
Let's do
things
it.
is activating the Parks Board and having somebody dedicated to the trees. And that could go towards doing an inventory of the trees in the community.
It's my heart.
And then picking the right kinds of trees, the right areas. Just because a lot of our trees in our parks either are gone or they're getting ready to.
Yeah.
So, and
lost a
then
lot of
you're
trees.
marked a tree city after that.
That's a,
So
that's a big
That's
issue.
good.
it is, and he thought that we would definitely qualify. So those were good things. If anybody drove by, they've put the first layer of asphalt down on 6th Street, 7th Street, and Frank Street.
I think it's got the top layer on there now.
They probably did.
I
been
just
here.
drove by there and I was gonna say something, but it
Okay.
looks pretty good. They had a layer down, and you could still see the manhole covers were up pretty
Okay.
good in the water. Right now, they're all pretty.
They might have, so that's awesome. They're gonna be out this week then to line the sewers, and that project will be done. So that was great, and I want to thank all the residents in that area, because they kind of suffered a bit.
Yeah.
Through the water breaks and all that, but we got through it. We're looking forward to the next phase of that, which will be the Danforth-Michaels Fairdale area. The sanitary sewer phase 1 should be starting soon. They're going to be back out to work on the tower once they get the rest of the steel in. So that should be in the next few weeks. Who knew it would take so long to get steel in for a project like that, but it's on the move. This weekend, we had our first softball tournament up at Waterworks Park.
Huge turnout.
It was a huge turnout. I put a thing on Facebook, ball tournaments and barbecue. They were slamming the barbecue, but it was a great turnout. They have a few more tournaments scheduled for this summer, so we're really excited about that. And one of the big draws was getting all that grant money and refurbishing the concession building. So I want to say thank you again to the Rotary, Port Summit Rotary, to the state of Ohio, ODNR for the grant. And then that segues into, I want to thank Kelly Chapman from Springfield Township. She sent me last week information on a grant that was being promoted by Amelia Sykes' office, asking if I'd ever heard of it. Did I get one? I said nope, but I'm gonna try to get information on it. And that office was slammed. It was due that day, May 1st, I think.
Oh.
It was due May 1st when she sent it to me. I tried calling, I tried emailing, nothing. So I started Googling stuff, and I said I can come up with a project. So I pulled out our AMAT study that we had done, the Connecting Communities. I picked an area, Sunnyside, Church, and Lakeside Drive intersection, which is always an area of contention. It's a dangerous area, but it's also one of the easiest accesses to Springfield Lake and Dodds Park, which is also where we want to put our storybook trail. So I threw that in there. All they can do is say no. So a couple days later, I got an email, and they're like, okay, we got some more questions for you. And by the way, if we can get more funding, could you spend it? Oh,
You're
yes.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
I can spend money. Yep, yep. And this is why I've got this giant study to make the village walkable. So, yep. So,
Good deal.
thank you, everybody here, and Dustin from Springfield Local Schools for the letters of support. I got them sent in and all the questions answered. So
And that was due
fingers-
today at 5,
That was
right?
due today at 5.
Well,
I
thank you,
I
Tracy.
did that.
Thank you for doing
So
all the work.
I'm hoping, and then the next grant will be ODNR for their storybook trail. So we'll see what happens. Again, all I can do is say no.
We could maybe recycle some of our letters of support for.
Yeah,
Copy
the
and paste.
fire department, they did a couple different versions.
Nice.
Just for that,
I
so.
think conceptually, it's the same cause.
It
right?
is, so.
Safety.
Fingers crossed.
I'm hoping.
That would be awesome, Tracy.
Yep.
Things are
So-
looking up, I can just feel
It
it.
is.
I'm
Yep.
just really excited.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure.
That's all I have.
Love grants.
Anybody else before we move on? Okay, appearing before council, we have Douglas E. Fischel. Would you come to the?
Fischel.
Fischel. Would-
Fish. Or you wanna say fish shell.
Okay, Fischel. How's that better?
It's Hebrew.
Okay, did I get it or no?
Fish
I'm not
shell.
Hebrew.
That's not good.
What was that?
That's not good.
If you want to come up
So
here.
the floor's being yielded to me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yes,
Come
you
to the
have
podium,
3
state your name and
minutes.
address, please.
Mayor,
3 minutes?
you said 2 tickets?
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
bring the
thank you.
missus.
Go ahead, thank you very much.
She'll love it.
Sold out now.
3 minutes.
Thanks.
3 minutes.
All right. If you would like to state off the first item, which I wrote.
Pardon me?
If you'd like to state off the first item, which I wrote.
Oh, sure. The
Recycling.
reason for concern here was the recycle, water, sewer, corner of Russell, Springfield Lake Drive,
We'll
cleanup.
start with the recycle, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I have been trying to do my best, and I've been in your dumpster, right down here by the police department. Dumpster diving, pulling out cardboard and other stuff. And if you notice slightly, I've written lightly, somebody left a little pen, so I tried marking on each one what's supposed to go in it. And the reason for that is because there was a gentleman about a week before, okay? He said the cardboard is supposed to go to the church, it's their money, correct?
I'd love it. We
I'm
love
trying
it.
to help out as far as trying, in my building where I live, you know, I said sometimes you just think you don't have enough nerves, okay? These people are cooperating, okay? I've tried my best, okay? People in the community wanna know why the money from the cardboard is for the church.
It's not for the church. It's for the food pantry.
Yeah,
That's what I've tried to explain, correct?
it's a separate entity completely,
Okay.
yeah.
I would like to thank, what's my next one there?
Water, sewer?
You're hearing a lot of complaints, and my landlord has a very short fuse, and I do not blame the man for being upset, because right across the street, it's Summit County sewer, not Akron. And
Summit.
he said, and he's quoting the
I'm
point,
not sure where.
Wait, I,
he's quoting the point because of the fact that Summit County sewer is cheaper than Summit County.
is it really
Akron.
across the street?
Summit County Sewer.
Yes, ma'am, because there was 4 trucks across the street, and I walked out and
There
walked over.
is a small area over by Fairdale. That
Okay.
is the Summit County sewer line.
My landlord wants to know why, okay, he's being charged more when that's Summit County and being charged Akron rates. And I do not blame this man whatsoever.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Mr. Dotson is being charged Village of Lakemore rates because the Village of Lakemore charges all the Village of Lakemore
So
residents.
is there, that's really with Summit County being cheaper than Akron? So
It
you
doesn't
drink-
matter,
So you bring the price together,
no.
so it's $1,000 per use.
He is on a Village of Lakemore line, but there is a lot of areas in the village that have lines that were installed by Summit County.
Okay.
Summit County maintains them, but the Village of Lakemore bills them.
Well,
because-
Summit County was maintaining this, man.
Correct, that's what I said. They're maintaining them, but we bill for them.
All right, what's my next thing on the list?
Sewer,
That's sewer.
Sewer.
water, sewer. Why corner of Russell, Springfield Lake Drive was not cleaned up and attendance of spring cleanup?
I was the only one that went there, Mr. Mayor.
Where at?
The corner
Our
where you go
vacant
around the
lot
corner of
behind
Main
the-
to Springfield, I was the only one that went there. This gentleman here, this lady here, and the person who was in charge, all right, we're gonna go there. And I said, okay, I'll meet you there. I was the only one that showed up.
I never said that I was
No,
gonna go there.
never. I never
We
heard
had,
this before.
Anyhow.
we went all through the plaza, we went all through this village,
Okay.
I walked through.
And Councilman John, I would like to thank you for the information that you gave me for the history of Lakemore, the radio repair, and things like that. You filled me in on all that I didn't know before. And I can understand the one building you wanted to make a historical society out of it. Unfortunately, you had a bad foundation. Correct?
Correct.
So, there's something else we can do to get a historical building? Right? Also, I'd like to include that I put in an application to work for the Village of Lakemore, Public Works. I am a disabled American veteran with severe PTSD because I was sodomized by being held down by 8 men that did it. I would like to give back because it's your tax dollars that pay my compensation. And I think I explained to you, Mr. Mayor and Mrs. Sayre, what I would do with the money. Did I not? Did I not better keep my word? I don't get a hangnail if they're going out to try to fix a pothole. Because I'm hearing from people, hey, Main Street was supposed to be paid 2 years ago. The grant money was there, it was paid.
No.
They're asking what, no, I'm just telling you what I'm telling you, all I'm hearing.
understand.
They wanna know where the money went to pay it. And it was supposed to be Springfield Lake Drive too.
No.
That's, since I've been on council, 10 years back, those have not been on the agenda to repave.
Well, it
So-
was written in the legal paper.
It might
I
have
need- I
been
need
that,
some-
what we did, I submitted paperwork to change the status of Springfield Lake Drive, Main Street, a portion of Lake Road that attaches to sanitarium, so that it might, if approved, be considered for funding, qualify for funding as sanitarium,
That I remember.
Flickinger.
That I
But it wasn't,
remember.
That's it.
but it wasn't printed in the legal paper that was.
Well,
I understand, Mr. Mayor, you said you had it signed, you shake your head, it wasn't printed right.
Well, I'll have to take a look, and I can't say if it was or wasn't, to be honest.
Last of all, Madam President, would like to thank you for deciding to clean up. Mayor John? Thank you, Mr. Schultz, I thank you. Ma'am, where the hell were the rest of you?
I'm in California.
I'm sorry?
I was in California visiting my son.
Okay, but you said that Judy's here, sir.
Wait a minute.
No, this was a
No,
volunteer type
no,
thing.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And if you have the time and you're available, you can.
Yeah, but-
She was unable to walk around because of her knee.
As a representative of this community, what's the community expect the rest of you to be here?
I
It
disagree.
doesn't
My family,
always
I will
work.
tell you, just like I'll,
I disagree with you strongly. These people
I-
have lives also.
Yes, they
He
do.
gave us notice he wasn't coming, and I think it's very
I'm just telling you-
disrespectful of
I'm
you
just telling you
to
what I-
question what
I'm
we
just telling
do
you what-
on our own
I'm
time.
just telling you what I hear out there,
You know,
and you know I was there.
well, so was I, and I still resent what you're saying to my colleagues. They have other responsibilities than just serving the village. We try to do it all, but obviously we cannot please everyone, and I think it's very offensive what you just said.
Mr. Mayor, did you not make the statement I was everywhere? Did you see it?
Sure.
Well, you weren't the only one. There was 50 other people there.
Right.
Yeah,
And we
agree.
do our very
I
best.
agree. I agree.
I would like to say, thank you for your service. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your
Your
sacrifice.
pleasure, Mayor.
Number two, as a member of council, we are required to attend both council meetings, and workshops are not even required.
Okay.
The only thing we are required to do is attend these two meetings.
Okay.
So we are not required to attend Easter, Easter gatherings, the egg hunt. We are not required to attend the parades. We are not required to do any other thing that this village does.
Okay.
So we do that on our own for the betterment of the village, to bring the
And the
community
3 minutes
together.
has been well up.
All due respect,
Okay.
this is what I'm hearing from the constituents of your residents.
Well, they can believe or
But
say
where were
what they
they?
want.
Where were
but-
they on that day?
Yeah, we're the only ones that ever come,
Yeah,
so.
man,
Yeah.
a lot of them weren't there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
None of us
So,
I think our,
And
I think our 3 minutes is up.
Yeah, 3 minutes
yeah,
is
so,
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was over
Councilman John.
3 minutes
Yeah.
ago.
don't you think they should have
Well,
been?
they should have been, but they weren't.
There's a lot of distractions.
So,
coming.
and that's,
right,
Yeah,
but-
Doug,
but we
I-
gotta
so
move on.
I would
Our
like,
time
yes,
is
so
up.
I would like
Yeah,
to
3 minutes
say,
is over. What?
yeah, so I just would like to say that anybody out there listening, the amount that the village, that we as council members and mayor, we get paid far, far, far less than anybody in any other village, township,
It sounds like
district,
military, man.
city, absolutely.
And we've tried to
But
give it
we've
up.
actually even,
Yeah, we've
there has
actually-
been times that
Oh,
we
yeah.
actually, all of us have said, we would vote to do away with our pay completely, to be able to give back to the village. We all love this village so much. I don't see any other place that is even willing to do that. So the people don't understand what is actually required and the amount of hours that we actually put in behind the scenes of everything. So we don't go around saying, hey, look at what we've done. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. The amount of hours that goes into the Memorial Day parade, for Easter functions, the money that we spend out of our own pocket. We spend money out of our own pocket to fill the Halloween bags with candy and the Easter eggs with candy. So anybody that has an issue with us or whatever, they are more than welcome to come and address this board or these council members and the mayor. So we encourage people to come and bring their grievances to us, but with the understanding that if they are coming to complain about what it is we do without the understanding of what it is we are only required to do, and understanding of what we far surpass what we are required to do for the little amount of money that we get, then
We'll educate.
I will wholeheartedly educate
Hopefully this will
everybody.
do it.
So to have someone come here and I am glad you're here. I appreciate you coming. But to come and you know, thank you for putting us on notice of what people are saying. But I wish those people would come and get an education as to what it is we actually do. Because like I said, we are not required to do anything but come to this meeting. So we come to this meeting, we go to workshops, we put in time and energy to search for grants. Today I sat there for 15, 20 minutes on my personal time to be able to better this village, to be able to make this village a nicer place. I wasn't paid for that. So for
Yeah,
anybody that has an issue, I implore them to come and bring it up with us. So, I thank you. So,
Okay, moving on.
Okay, we
Okay.
need to
And I
move along.
apologize for the misunderstanding.
There's no misunderstanding. I heard what you said, and I'm gonna briefly
And I will say,
just.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm just gonna briefly tell you, I've already put hours into the Memorial Day parade,
Okay.
and I am not gonna be here this time. I'm gonna be moving, and, or I'm doing, well, it doesn't even matter, and I'm gonna be spending that day with my son that was a 25-year-old vet, or year vet. So I get what it's about, but we can't always be at
And would you
everything.
say your son from this letter?
Yes,
Thank
I
you
will.
for his service.
Thank you.
All right,
Going on.
let's,
All right.
So
Thank
hopefully,
you.
with this coming out, hopefully there's enough in the public that's gonna see it on camera and video, or watch it. Then you have your right, and you're explaining and answering them back what's going on.
Absolutely, it is now on record, so yeah.
Also, I've tried talking to the police department to become auxiliary police.
We don't have one.
We don't have one currently.
Also, what about volunteer fire?
We don't have
We
any.
don't
Not
have-
volunteer
We don't have
anymore.
volunteer.
All liability.
We can't
license.
afford to have that, believe me.
Our
Yeah.
services would be free, Mr. Mayor.
It's about
But
liability.
insurance.
That's
The
Insurance.
liability.
the insurance liability training.
It's
It's
most of the
I'm
training
aware.
for the
Yeah.
fire.
I'm a veteran, I
That-
get benefits and they're medical too.
that's
I
well,
hate to ask you to have a seat, but we really should move on with this meeting. Our
The
3 minutes is up, and I need to.
Then I will exit.
All right,
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank
you.
And I'm still bringing the misses.
Okay.
Thank you.
We would
Thanks,
love to see
Doug.
her.
Have a blessed day.
You
Thank
too.
for
God
your-
bless
You
you.
as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a hard job, I know. The military, you have to do things.
Yep.
Okay, so, we don't have any old business right
No,
here?
new business though.
Okay,
Ms.
so-
Cochran, you have quite a slew.
Shall
so
I go ahead and start
Yes,
then?
Please.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7355-2024, a resolution approving the Assistant Fire Chief to reinstate Andrew Siptak as part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads,
I'll
please.
second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
second
Seeing
it.
none,
No,
roll
just
call,
just
please.
glad to see
Oh, sorry.
him leave and come back, just like residents do every day.
Right. Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7356-2024, a resolution approving the Assistant Fire Chief to hire Kyle Ledger as part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Second?
The original.
Thanks, thanks, Dan. Any discussion? Sorry. Roll call, please.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7357-2024, a resolution approving the Assistant Fire Chief to hire Dalton Brake as part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. First, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads,
I
please.
second.
Thank you.
Roll call, please. Thanks.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Or, sorry, Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz again?
Yes.
And Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
And a second on the original?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I just want to say that the reason why we've got a lot of new hires for the fire department is, one, because we've got some who's had to resign that we're going to be doing more legislation on. And then secondly, with the summer months coming up, a lot of guys who are full-time other places are either mandated to work more hours at their full-time or just vacation time. So that way we can still have the coverage. We're not increasing the amount of hours.
We're not increasing the amount of money or the amount of hours, it's
We're
just
still having
places.
More
sufficient
people at the same
staffing.
Well,
So,
they're all welcome to come.
Okay. Next, I'd like to, ready?
Oh.
Well, let's do roll call. Okay, I'm a little
Yeah.
excited.
We haven't noticed.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution number 7358-2024, a resolution approving the Assistant Fire Chief to hire Jared Andrews as part-time firefighter medic at the Lakemore Fire Department. Again, first, I'd like to dispense with the 3 reads.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
I second the original.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Okay, and last, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7359-2024, a resolution authorizing the Lakemore Fire Department to enter into a EMS service agreement with MSAR. Okay, and again, I'd like to dispense with the 3 reads, make a motion to do that.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
I second the original.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Sam, you're up.
All right. I want to make a motion to, I want to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1852-2024. This is an ordinance to amend ordinance 1833-2023, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. But first, I want to make a motion to dispense with 3 readings.
I'll
second.
Roll call.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
And the original?
Second the original?
Thank you. Is there any discussion, council? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay.
Any reason to go in executive?
Yes. I actually have something, before we go into executive session. 3 of these, resolutions, I would like to amend, and, make motions to amend and go ahead and vote on these resolutions. The first one is Resolution 7360-2024, a resolution amending the pay rates for Chris Alderman, Travis Fockler, and Tracy McMenemy for the Village of Lakemore Department of Public Services. I would like to suspend the second reading and the third reading and make these effective immediately. So,
So we need to vote to dispense the 3 reads first. Is that
I-
your motion?
I think
each
it's, personally, I think it's better that we do the 3 reads, because passing everything by emergency is not how it should be done. I understand hiring of firemen, hiring of officers and stuff like that, but to continue to do emergency legislations also makes it look like we're trying to hide something. I mean, I'm all for them getting their praises, but I think it's, in my opinion, it's better that we go through the 3 reads like
But
it
the-
should be done.
but the issue is, we should have went ahead and given them their raises back in December. The other issue is, our men, are being poached by other places, poached for lack of a better word, but, we have a great group of guys with our safety services and with Mr. Alderman. The Village of Lakemore cannot afford to pay a whole lot, so to me, the sooner that we can get them their raises, makes them less vulnerable to go to other places, especially Mr. Alderman, because what he's getting here in the Village of Lakemore, he can make a double this somewhere else. So to me, we've done raises emergency before. There's not really been an issue. And to me, I just would rather it be sooner rather than later. These guys can be paid more working for McDonald's, and these guys go out there and put their lives on the line for us. These guys in the DOPS, they treat our water, they treat our sewer. They have to have special certifications. So I don't want to risk having them leave when they can certainly go somewhere else, make double the money, and then we're paying almost $100 an hour to fill in to get someone else. And that's just for him. So, these guys are being approached to make jobs at $28 an hour. These guys are being approached to make full-time, things like that. And, you know, Lakemore can't compete, but one thing we can do is get them the money that they deserve a little bit faster. So that's my take on it. So, you know, I will bring up I will make the motion.
The motion
for
to dispense with the three reads.
dispense with the three reads first.
Is there a second?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion on that at this time?
Am I allowed to ask a question? We dispense with the three reads, their raises go in effect immediately
No, it does
instead
not.
of.
According to the resolution, it still does not go into effect till June 6th.
So-
But that's gonna be my next amendment to this resolution, is that it take effect immediately.
Okay, we can talk, this has to pass first and then we'll have discussion.
The,
Roll call, please.
Dispense with three reads or the amendment?
Dispense with the three
Dispense with
reads,
three reads.
Okay.
and then we can dissect the resolutions.
Mrs. Cochran made the second.
Yeah.
I made the second, so we're
Roll call,
just,
please, to
Dispense with
dispense.
three reads.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
I feel it's wrong, but yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
No.
Ms. Anderson? Yes. Mrs. Cochran?
yes.
Is there any discussion at this time? Or if not, I'd like to make an amendment, if I can.
Feel free to make that discussion and amendment. too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to make this go into effect on May 9th, just because of how it falls in the payroll.
That's fine,
meant-
because that was,
no.
because I figured with it being immediate, that it would just be the next pay.
So
If it's immediate, I have to do it starting tomorrow.
Okay, then,
Okay.
yes, so the
No.
19th.
Well, my question,
The
okay,
9th.
now
Or
my
the
next
9th.
question, my next question is, to you, Megan, you have made the arrangements for this raise to happen on June 6th. How is it going to affect the next,
My opinion on everything, I definitely just think that we should discuss at workshop like the original plan was at the last workshop, because I crunched numbers and I would like to take the time to actually show everybody how much more money it was gonna cost for the rest of the year. And, I would have liked just to go, but to answer your question, it's in the same, it would be the same as with July, just a little bit more, but I would have liked to discuss more at the workshop to go through.
I was thinking in the workshop, we were basically not the fire and the police. Basically, my understanding was that the workshop was only going to cover DOPS.
No, we
Those-
were talking
No. Those
originally,
amounts.
we were talking originally to
Um,
do the entire straight across, because that's when in January, I'm just saying, in January is when we in December, started the legislation, when we did the first half of the raises, and they were effective January. And so, my understanding was at the next workshop, we were talking straight through, so it would be effective in July, like we told everybody, that could be a possibility after looking at the budget, that we would be able to give your second half that they asked for, the proposal raises starting July 1st, or that first pay period of July.
But the thing is, how much are we going to lose when we have officers and firefighters and all that? They go, they leave, then we have the process and the amount that we would have to pay to replace them with the new hiring, we would have to replace them with training. Would you have had the numbers as to how much that would be offset by losing these people and having to rehire, plus losing these people and not only rehiring, but having to pay 2/3 more just for the one gentleman? To me, it doesn't make sense because you're paying dollars to save pennies. I'm not making that
No,
statement to
I'm
hurt
not
you.
saying, but yeah,
I'm just
that's
saying
that was just
overall.
my opinion on what John asked on
Yeah.
Yeah.
what I feel, that's just my opinion, but
I
as
appreciate
it's your
you,
guys' with the
like,
vote.
Stating that.
But I do want to clarify, I mean, all we're effectively doing is moving this
Right.
legislation up less than a month. It's going
Correct.
from June 6th effective to May 9th effective. That's not a month. So the dollars and cents shouldn't break the bank, okay? If we were considering a $5 raise for Chris and $1 for Travis and $1 for Tracy per hour, it's pretty pitiful if we can't make it roll effective less than a month before what we're contemplating, what everybody, I believe, is on the same page for.
But originally it was gonna be July, so it's actually 2 months earlier than what we
But that's not
had-
what we're talking about
I,
tonight.
but I'm saying, it's 2 months earlier than what we had originally planned, because we were doing everybody's.
And, I mean, honestly, I mean, I mean, had you not busted your leg and I not fallen ill and all this other stuff, I mean, we should have been acting on Chris Alderman earlier than a July effective date, when he's got opportunities to leave our village and work elsewhere for a lot more money. I mean, this is.
But everybody does.
This is-
Everybody,
not just him,
absolutely.
everybody
But
does.
this is vital and key. There's not a $70 differential in anybody else's departure. There is in Chris's. He makes $25 an hour now. We're going for a $5 raise. What's the range of the backup alternate from elsewhere? $100 an hour? Something to that effect? I mean, we can't afford not to pass a pittance of a $5 raise per hour for this guy when there's 2 1/3 times more per hour we would charge anybody else to come up immediately, because we're legally required to have someone with his skill set. This makes absolutely no sense that we're not gonna give him a $5 raise a year ago, truly.
Absolutely.
Just to
I mean, I'm
clarify-
just speaking plain English.
Just to clarify, it's for a water operator.
And
Yes.
sewer,
Sewer.
water and
Sewer.
sewers.
Water
Which
and
we're
sewer.
when
required
we-
to have.
When we state that he has credentials and stuff, that's what we mean
Right.
by that.
He has been legitimately offered $45 an hour, with the understanding that he would hold on for us to offer more money.
And this
So,
is still
yeah.
could very well.
And I have
Yes.
a question for Tracy. Why is this one amending pay rates a resolution, but the other three are not?
Because
They
it's
are ordinances?
resolution, it's specific to people, not the position. The other ones are
The other one's by
specific,
position.
ordinances.
The other one didn't have their names on
No,
it?
because they
It's
changed.
No, it did not.
Specific
Okay,
to the
okay,
position.
okay. Yep, you're right. All right. I was just wanted to make sure.
Good to know.
So.
That way whoever comes in,
Okay.
if Travis were to leave, or Tracy were to leave, or
Okay.
they're coming in at an entry
different rate.
rate, not necessarily
I-
what they were
I get
making.
that. Just wanted to clarify.
So then, yes, so then my amended thing would be to make it effective May 9th.
Which is less than a month than what the current legislation reads as written.
Correct.
Probably less than 2 months than the original discussed effective date. I mean, I don't remember what was discussed at workshop, but I mean, I thought this was gonna be on as a first read tonight, and when I had called you guys earlier, I was trying to make this, trying to do what Heather just did, is make it effective tonight, which we're not making it effective tonight. If this amendment passes, there's not a second yet, but if this amendment passes, it will make it effective May 9th, 2024. So is there a second for Heather, for that amendment?
I'll second the amendment.
Thanks, Sam. Can we have if there's any other discussion on that amendment only, we can discuss it or we can vote on it. Is there any further discussion? Going once, going twice. Roll call on the amendment, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yeah.
Are there any other amendments or is there any other discussion on resolution 7360-2024
As amended.
as amended, right? Thank you, Sam. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yep.
Okay, so the second one is the ordinance 1853-2024, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1797-2022 and 1834-2023, the pay scale for the Lakemore Police Department. So I would like to make a motion to dispense with the second and third reading for that as well.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr.
I
Strittmatter?
think we're doing it for one, we'll do it for all, so yes.
Yeah.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Are there any amendments?
Did we already do
The,
or
just the, for the May, for the, pay, for it to take effect
May
May
9th.
9th also.
Okay, that's an amendment. Is there a second?
I'll second the amendment.
Roll call. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
All right, and then the original,
As amended.
the
Are there
original
any other
amendment.
discussions or amendments?
No, I mean, I think it's just second what John says. The whole reason that these are all on the docket together is that way we do one, we do
Absolutely.
all. Because we don't want to make sure, we want to make sure that our police and fire department don't feel like we favor a DOPS member or.
Absolutely. And that's why in workshop, I had said, if we're gonna do one, we need to do them all,
You did.
so.
I guess also, I know all of these people have been recruited by others.
Oh, absolutely.
So, this is our best. They may not stay. Okay, but
Yeah.
I guess
And what it tells me is when we have other, police departments approaching our officers, we have other fire departments approaching our, fire department, men and women, it tells me that what we have is good. I don't want to lose them. I wish we could give them more. But to me, by at least moving up when we can pay them, adding a little bit to help them now, since we cannot offer a whole lot more, that's why I want to do this.
They like working for Lakemore,
Yes, a lot of them have stayed because they like working for Lakemore.
right, despite our low pay.
Yes, so, and with rising costs, I
Including our
cannot
fiscal
blame
officer.
them.
So what is the
Stressing
resolution
out.
now that we're voting on?
So the resolution
like, I am
that
gonna
we are
pull out of
voting
this
now is
meeting.
for the original, for the whole thing to,
Okay.
for the actual,
Is
ordinance.
there a second on that? As amended?
I mean, I'll second.
As
That's
amended.
fine.
You can't do them not.
Yeah,
Any other discussion? Roll call, please, if not.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes,
All right.
all right.
And we still have to do one
We
on
still gotta
that?
do one more. So I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1854-2024. An ordinance to amend ordinance 1802-2023 and 1835-2023, the pay scale for the Village of Lakemore Fire Department. The first, I would like to dispense with the second and third reading.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
And then amend it to take effect May 9th.
That's your amendment. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, please, for the
Mr. Strittmatter?
amendment.
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Are we all done?
And no, we have the
Yeah.
actual
Okay, I'm
original.
sorry, I must have
Yeah.
turned it over too quickly.
No, we're good.
Is there a
Yes.
second on the original as
On the
amended?
original.
Yes.
John?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
All right.
All right, I think that.
Are we done?
Any more fireworks?
Other than, do we need to go into executive?
I am going to make a motion to enter into an executive session tonight for, the reason would be employee matters.
I'll second.
And
Sorry.
I don't think Megan needs, I mean, the rest of us, I don't think you need to attend.
Do you need me to attend?
You don't have to, if you choose to, but it's up to you.
I'll stay, yeah.
I seconded the motion to go
Roll call,
into.
please. Sorry.
And I would like to also say, we are just coming back after that to adjourn, no further business. So there's no,
Reason to stay.
To stay.
Are we adjourning to, are we meeting in our office?
providing we have this room mostly clear. If not, we'll have to go outside or somewhere else.
Police department meeting?
Yeah.
All right.
We can do police
Roll call,
department.
please.
It's fine.
All right. Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a shoulder.